Welcome back everyone to Poppin' Often with Lofton. Today, we're doing a support tier list. No matter what tier list I do for any game, I always set rules to make sure that we're on the same page, even though most commenters don't even care about the rules, but I gotta do them. Rule number one, this is a solo queue tier list. It's not about what comp they fit into. It's not about their team up abilities. It doesn't matter. We're focusing specifically on the character and what they bring to the table. Number two, this tier list is based off the assumption you understand the basic level of these characters. So you understand this button does this, that button does that. Rule number three, we're going to be also focusing on the impact these characters bring when they are selected. If you haven't already seen the tank tier list or the DPS tier list, they are both already out. Check them out, but let's get started. First character up is Adan Warlock, one of my main healers, by the way. I really love Adan Warlock. Now, a lot of people think this character sucks. I think it's mainly because he has no escape, and his cooldowns are pretty high, but the thing is, his abilities are so strong, it's like if they were lower, kind of would be impossible to kill his character and his team. So I kind of understand where like these cooldown like restrictions are coming from. So let's kind of just talk about it, right? So he has a heal, point and click heal. It heals the target and then it also bounces around and heals other people. He also has an ability that reduces damage. Basically what happens is he shares the damage between him and his teammates. So if you're gonna all in me and I target 3 of my teammates, well, that damage is shared between everybody. So it effectively makes everyone tankier. Then he also has an ultimate that ends up rezzing players. And he also does a lot of damage. Like he does a lot of damage for a support. So I think right now, Adan Warlock, in my honest opinion, he's gonna be based on your skill level. I noticed that a lot of Adan Warlock players don't really understand when to use things, and they'll end up in a really tight spot most of the time. But if you go against a really good Adan Warlock that understands his cooldown usage, that understands when to use what, understands how to use their ultimate, you actually end up in a really tough spot and a really annoying spot when it comes to a good Adan Warlock. So although when you get on top of him, he's useless, because he has no way to get away from you or peel, if this dude manages to position properly the entire game, you're going to have a hard game on your hands. Now, if you don't know what based on your skill level means, I like to use the analogy of a calculator. Should you give a calculator to someone who doesn't understand how to use a calculator, they're not going to be able to do much with it. But should you give someone that understands the intricacies of a calculator, how to be efficient with the calculator, you'll notice they'll understand how to do a lot more with it than the other person. Adan Warlock is that calculator. The better you are at this character, the better you'll do. Next character up is Jeff. People think Jeff is actually a bad character. However, this character is really strong. The character is really hard to hit when he goes underground. The character has an ability to eat everybody and spit them out, or just straight up walk off the map and kill everybody. Even if he doesn't do that, he can still grab them off the map and take them off the map for what, like 5 seconds. He has a solid heal. He has a solid damage, and should he be paired up with Luna, even though we're not really talking about team up abilities, the dude does a lot of damage. So he's very strong. However, right now, he's definitely an elo inflation character. If you want wins and you do not care about getting better at Marvel Rivals, play Jeff. Jeff is one of those characters where it's like you will get to a point where you'll hit a wall and people are going to start dominating you because you didn't actually get better and you got elo inflated. Elo inflation means that you're picking a character that is so good at doing whatever it is that they need to do that it wins you games even though you shouldn't be winning you games. The thing that makes this character an elo inflated character is his ultimate. There is no way to really avoid this unless your reaction time is great, or you really are on point about where the character is. There's also no way to get out of him if he should eat you. I think a way to balance this is to either make that hitbox smaller, because even if you like get out of the range, sometimes that range still tags you. I know you guys have noticed that. Like even if you get out of the range, sometimes you get eaten and you're like, bro, how? I don't even understand. So like decrease the size of the hitbox and then maybe make a way for you to get out. Or maybe make him slower when he eats you. Like there's a lot of things that we can do to make this character not just eat people and just solo win games. But the amount of rounds that I've lost because this dude just manages to eat at the right time, manages to eat people is insane. But also, counterpoint, Jeff players will also lose their team the game by doing the exact same thing. So I don't really know what they'll do with this character. But right now, if you want to win, if you just care about winning and gaining rank, play this character, wait until you have a pretty solid ultimate, and then just walk off the map or spit them off the map. If they can fly back on the map. So really think about who you just ate. And if there's someone that can fly, just walk off the map instead. But you keep doing that, you'll win a lot more games. I'm telling you. Obviously, heal your team and stuff. Don't just like AFK eat things, but you will win a lot of games. That's how much this character impacts games. Next character we have is Loki. Loki's one of those characters that people think is very difficult, and he's not. Loki's not that difficult. He's just weird. Once you learn how Loki works, he's not difficult at all, and you're able to go. The one thing that makes Loki difficult is when you take an ultimate from a character you don't understand, because you're gonna have to be that character. However, you can pick and choose which character you take and just take one you know. There you go. Problem solved. So at the end of the day, I don't think Loki is that difficult, and his heals are actually really strong, and he does a lot of damage, and he has very good escapes. He can also go invisible. This character is insane. That being said, I don't think he's an elo inflator, but I don't think he's only as good as you are good. He takes some time to get good at, don't get me wrong, but the thing is, you can cap on how good you are with this character. Obviously, you can infinitely get better at all characters, but I want to say that he has a cap to where, like, you need to be this good and you'll perform well. There is no the better I get, the more rank I get. You can hit this cap and you'll be solid enough to just climb ranks. Whereas Adan Warlock, there is no cap. You need to keep getting better as your rank gets higher. Loki is like, you hit that cap, you're good enough to start climbing until you get to a rank where obviously you need to be better as a player, but not as Loki. So I think he's actually a best pick. And it might come off weird. Like, why would you say that he's the best pick? He requires so much of this and that. He doesn't take that long to get used to. He's just very weird. But once you get used to him, it will take you probably about 5 to 10 games. Once you get used to him. And if you don't know how to get better at a character, or learn a character, I'm sorry, not get better. If you don't know how to learn a character, I'm going to make a video soon teaching you how I learn characters. Not just in this game, but in general, how I learn characters. And I'm going to make that so that you can get better at a character way faster. But when it comes down to Loki, in my opinion, he's a really good solid pick. He does everything really well. He has the damage, he has the heals, he has the survivability, he has a way to escape, he has a way to avoid burst. He's very solid. Next character we have is Luna Snow. Luna Snow, without a doubt, is a staple healer. She's very good at what she does. She has a stun that she can point and click. There's not really much to say about this character. She's just solid. Like, there really isn't anything else I can say. Her kit is amazing. She is very solid of a character, and she has a lot of damage. She has a lot of sustain for her team. She's very impactful. She's great. She's definitely under the best picks in my opinion. Character that the best picks category, I don't know if I can explain it, but it's the characters that is like, no matter what you do, no matter how good or bad you are, you'll be impactful with this character. Loki, kind of an exception, but for the rest of them that we're going to be talking about, no matter what you do, you're impactful. Like, she's just that type of character. Next up, we have Mantis. Mantis is really in the same boat as Luna Snow. Mantis is a great character. She's actually, I think, busted. She's not, okay, she's low-key elo inflation. Low-key elo inflation. But she's not strong enough to get there. But she is a strong character. Again, a staple pick. I think she's just too strong. But you can't be stupid with her and still win games. You still have to know what you're doing. But I do think she's a little strong right now. So she could use a nerf in my opinion. So she's not an elo inflated character, but I do think she needs some type of nerf to her. Just because she's very strong at that. She's very strong at what she does. And she's even better at things that she shouldn't be able to do. So that's where we're going to keep her. The next character that we have is Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon, I actually really like Rocket Raccoon. I like the character from the movie, like the series. Like this guy, I love him. I do love this character. This character is really cool. However, in game, he's not bad. A lot of what you're doing with Rocket is kind of just running around, being kind of annoying. But the real highlight to this character is the fact that he can res people after they die. However, people can just destroy the thing and he can't res anymore. He also heals by like shooting these balls that need to connect with the player. If it doesn't connect to the player, he won't heal. Right now, I think he's not worth learning. If you're a player that's like, Poppin', I just want a healer to play, Rocket is not worth learning right now. Other healers do what Rocket does, but way better. That being said, should you love Rocket, play Rocket. I don't think there's any character in this game that is so weak it's unplayable and you can't win. And I don't think there's any character in this game that is so strong you just always win. Like, between the weak and strong, they do a good job keeping characters between those lines. Rocket's no exception. However, if you don't care about Rocket specifically, then just play another healer. If you want a small healer to play Jeff. If you just like the size of Rocket, play Jeff. If you like to sit on Groot, play Jeff. If you just want a straight up healer, play other ones, right? Damage wise, it's okay. Not amazing. I think what would help him is just not having him have to, like, give him more healing bubbles to like shoot around without having to reload. I think that's one of the main struggles with this character right now, is that. Because again, if people just destroy your res, you kind of don't have that anymore. His ultimate's very good though. His ultimate does do a lot for the team. But as a healer, like being classified as a healer, I think he can use a buff to how many balls he can shoot, or just the potency of the heal from the balls. I don't know, I'm not a developer, I don't know how that works, but if you really don't care about Rocket as the character, play something else, you'll be rewarded. The thing about Rocket is the better you get at him, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll start winning more games. Rocket is still low-key weak, and you're gonna have to be kind of above average to start winning more games with Rocket. If you don't really want to tackle that mountain because you don't like the character that much, then don't do it. But if you really love Rocket and you're like, bro, I love him from the movies, he's so funny, he's my favorite character, play Rocket, you will climb, period. Doesn't matter. Once you start playing more games and getting better at him, you will start to climb. It just takes a lot more effort to do it with him than it is with the other characters. Next, we have Cloak and Dagger. You'll see that I have Cloak and Dagger actually separated, and then I have them together. I want to do this because I want to differentiate the difference between the types of Cloak and Daggers. So we're just going to use boy and girl. That way, if you guys get confused about who's Cloak and who's Dagger. So the boy is going to represent DPS. If you are a DPS Cloak and Dagger, and that's all you really want to focus on, don't play it. It's not worth learning. Play another character. If you are looking for just a straight healer, and that's all you really want to focus on is healing, not worth learning, don't learn it. Play another healer. If you know how to balance the two, and you know how to switch and play both of them, then this is going to be a character that is going to be based on your skill level. Now, I do want to say she actually isn't that difficult to play. When she's in dagger form, the bullets like hone in on players. So you don't even have to aim and she'll hit people. When you're playing Cloak, again, you don't have to aim. The problem is knowing when to switch. A lot of the times when I go against Cloak and Dagger players, they tend to just overuse one of them, and they don't know how to break the molds and use both of them interchangeably. Should you learn to do that, you're going to win games based off how good you are at the character specifically. You're still going to have to learn Marvel Rivals, but these two play so different than Marvel Rivals characters, you're going to have to learn how to play Cloak and Dagger exclusively. It's kind of like learning how to play Groot or learning how to play Wolverine. It's like you're learning how to play the character, and then you have to learn how to play the game. And so once you learn how to play the character, it's going to be better. In Adam Warlock's case, it's not learning how to play Adam Warlock. He plays how he's supposed to play. But this character is so strange that you're going to have to learn how to play the two of them and then proceed to learn how to play the game as the two of them, if that makes sense. I will say the fact that they're easy to play in terms of like you never missing your shots because everything auto attacks people regardless of how you aim makes it easier to play, but that's not going to carry you through a match. You are going to need to learn how to do both of them at the same time, and that's going to be where you notice the good and bad Cloak and Dagger players, what separates the low elo Cloak and Daggers from the high elo Cloak and Daggers. So this is the list that we have. We have the elo inflators. Again, these are the characters that you just play and you will win more than you lose. Period. That's how good they are right now. Then you have the best picks. These are going to be the characters that, like, even if you aren't that great at the game, you're still going to be impactful. Loki is kind of a blur between the lines because you're going to have to learn how to play You have to get used to Loki because he's weird, but after your initial 5 to 10 games, you will start to understand like, oh, okay, that's how Loki works. And then he's in the best picks category where it's like, no matter what you do, you're useful. Then we have based on your skill level. These are going to be the characters that the better you get, the more you'll win, period. Then we have the not worth learning characters. These are the characters that unless you really enjoy how these characters work, unless you really enjoy the love of these characters, tackling that mountain is just not necessary because you're gonna have to put a lot more work into doing it to make it successful than when you can just play something else. That being said, you can obviously play what you want in this game and you will still win games and you will still climb, but if you don't want to struggle as much, consider not playing that one until it gets a buff. Of course, what I say is not gospel. This is just my personal opinions on climbing through the ranks. Let me know your opinions down below. Remember, if you want to see the tank tier list or the DPS tier list, they're already out right now on the channel. Until next time, you know what I always say. Think you guys are doing what? Popping often, will often.